I recently purchased an Xbox Series X from Raylo. So Raylo leases them, and that's effectively what I've done. In the UK, you could not get for the past, I don't know, 6 months or so at least, a brand new Xbox Series X console. You couldn't get one. All you could get was used ones on sort of like eBay or refurbished ones elsewhere. Even the refurbished ones was similar price to the new. So from my point of view, it was like this isn't really good. Um, So I'll be debating whether to get a Series X again. I've had it before. So when the Series X first came out, I owned it. When the PS5 came out, I owned it. I literally had both. Then I got fed up with them because I had my PC as gaming PC as well. So my gaming laptop, I've sold my PC since. I've done a lot of selling. I regret a lot sometimes, because it costs me more in the long term. Keep getting fed up with things. I'm sure there's similar people. But no, my gaming laptop now, it runs on an ultra wide external screen. I've got my all set up. It's powerful. It's good. It's what I play most of my games. But there is something just nice about playing on the couch, really, and just on a bigger TV and things like that. And it's certain games I like doing that with. So I've been like, I really want a console again, just so I can get really different environments. It gets a bit annoying, keep sitting at a desk. I don't think it's particularly healthy, although you could argue it doesn't really matter. So anyway, last year, just before Christmas, I think it's about October actually. So let's say 6 months ago, I bought my daughter the Xbox One X because I've had that too. I had the PS4 Pro, I've had the Xbox One, I've had the PS4 normal one. Uh, I've had all the consoles, so I'm very versed in what they offer. Now the PS5, it has some great games. Like you think of Ghost of Tsushima, we've got the Uncharted series. I absolutely love Uncharted. I love The Last of Us, God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone. There's like a list, and it's incredible. But I have played those games. One of the things I don't like about the PlayStation, though, is its design. Aesthetically, I think it looks an absolute mess. It's a monstrosity. Doesn't matter where you put it, it's always out of place. I don't think anyone can make that thing look good. I don't know why they designed it like that. Now, I know it's only aesthetics, but it's a reason. But from my point of view, the Xbox was becoming appealing because I'm already starting to pay for Game Pass on the laptop, so I can play like Call of Duty and some of the latest games. And the reality is, Call of Duty is a big game for multiplayer. And on consoles, for instance, especially Xbox, there's no point buying it. If I bought Call of Duty, for instance, it's on sale at the moment on Xbox in physical form. But I'm going to have to pay for Game Pass anyway, realistically, to play online. So why would you buy the game if it's part of the feature? So anyway, Xbox just becomes an affordable option because games are bundled in with the online service pretty much. Now, PlayStation has their alternatives, but for the most part, the ones you want to play, you're going to have to buy. So you start hemorrhaging money. So I was using the cloud feature with the Xbox One X, and I think the Xbox One X was a great console, and I still think it's great. Literally 6 teraflops of performance, and it was ahead of its time, I think, at the time for consoles. And I think the Series X just come out too quick. It didn't give it enough lifespan for me personally. It was more powerful than PS4 Pro. It was quite evident to me using both systems. It was better. The Series S comes out. I can't stand that device. I think it's crap. I think it's held the generation back. I think Xbox shouldn't have released it. I think it should have just been a Series X and been done with it, and then people would have upgraded, and then I think the gaming cycles would have evolved. It's been a terrible, terrible console, but people think it's incredible. But that's because they've got nothing to compare it to. A lot of people comparing this have the Series S are comparing it to the original Xbox One. But those of us who had a One X know that it's inferior to that model, which was previous gen. So effectively, the Series S has a more powerful CPU than the One X, which allows it to hit higher frame rates. But the graphics performance, the actual graphics card, has a weaker graphics card than the One X. So the One X can actually do higher resolutions. It can do native higher resolutions. So the image quality is better. It just can't pump out higher FPS, but it can still hit 60 anyway. So effectively, the One S can hit maybe, I don't know if it can go higher than 60 anyway. Let's say it can go 120. Our TVs are 60 most of the time. So that One S is terrible. I played it. It's not like terrible. It's just it's inferior. It doesn't make sense. I tried playing like Forza Horizon. I could see the difference in resolution. It was not crisp. And I was like, if I'm getting another Xbox, for instance, if I'm going to start playing it, I want the Series X. Or the One X. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you don't need to upgrade if you don't want to. Like, for instance, I was playing the One X and I was doing the cloud gaming, cloud streaming the latest games because obviously the new generation doesn't work on the One X, and it was fine. Like, I was getting good performance, but I did notice playing Call of Duty, for instance, some of the names weren't really clear, which showed that the resolution was down. The bandwidth isn't incredibly high, but it's playable and it looks good. You know, it's functional. You can get literally life out of an old console, but there was no way I was going to go from an Xbox One X to a Series S. That's the one thing I won't do. I've tested it. I didn't like it in the past. It's the one. That's the one console I won't go near, just for that. So effectively, it was stick with the One X, play old games to a limit, then you're going to have to stream the rest, which isn't ideal if you're going to get into games, really. Because there's some limitations that not every game's going to be on Game Pass, for instance, like the sports games and things, at least immediately. So then the difference comes, do you want an Xbox or Xbox Series X or PS5? Like I just said, I'm a bit fed up with the PS5 at this point. I do like the controller for my laptop, for my games on PC. I've recently got the PS5 DualSense, so I do love this controller, but I can get on with either. So I'm not like hating on the PS5. It's just that I've exhausted the single player adventures, and for me to play Call of Duty, for instance, it's another outlay, isn't it? I've got to pay the monthly fee for the game subscription, which isn't as strong as the Xbox, and then I've got to pay the 60 quid or whatever it is for the game, and it's just like, this is just hemorrhaging money for what? So anyway, yeah. So I've got a bit of a conundrum now, because I initially did this leasing deal because it was a way for me to get the Series X at a lower rate. It's easier for me to acquire it now rather than wait a few months, but it is leasing, so effectively it's going to cost me more in the long run. But I did that with the understanding there was no new consoles. You know, I can't trust someone on eBay saying, well, it's in great condition. It turns up you've got scratches all over it. I can't stand having devices that have not been looked after. Like, all mine are scratch free. I don't sort of smash shit around. I don't go around scratching it for no. I don't understand how you damage stuff, to be totally honest. It's like, man, neglect things go through. You know. So I thought, if I lease it and it's not, it said refurbished. So I think what it is, it's someone that's leased it before, but because you'll get held accountable if damage, people will look after it. So it's arrived yesterday. It was in perfect condition. So I was like, I don't even care if it's refurbished or new. As long as it's in perfect condition, I'm happy. So I'm playing it and I'm like impressed. I'm thinking, this is great. I don't know why I sold it in the past. I had too many devices, really. Yeah, and I mean, the Xbox is great for the Xbox Series X. I think it's incredible for backwards compatibility. The amount of games I can play, all the way up back to even the Xbox One. But I've installed an external hard drive, for instance. It's an SSD one, but it still doesn't. It's still not compatible enough to play the Series X games natively off it. So unfortunately, so effectively, I'm putting Xbox One, Xbox 360 games on the external hard drive, and the Xbox Series X games on the internal storage. And like, I just booted up. I booted up a few games, and they just look incredible. The one thing I would say, if anyone's interested, it might be it might be a limitation with just my TV, but I think a lot of people have this. Just disable HDR. My God, every time I put HDR on games, like for instance when it's set on to enable, it always makes everything bright. Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for instance, it's intensely white for no reason. You try and adjust the settings, but it's never normal. It's not vivid, which is the whole point of HDR in the first place. So I went into the settings on the Xbox and completely disabled the functionality of HDR. Went back into the main screen. It still looks popping. It looks incredible. It's very vivid, just the game selections. Then I went back into the game, like Odyssey, and it looks incredible. It's so much better with HDR. You don't need that. It's a gimmick. Again, depends on your TV. So yeah, look, I've had a bit of an issue now because it's arrived today, and my sheer bad luck, really, but I can't afford it all at once anyway at the moment, is that Xbox Series X, brand new, are now in stock again. So I loaded obviously the system up, went into the store, and it was available from Xbox from themselves. Although the newer models are not, which you don't need anyway, because they're a bit of a gimmick. There's one that's discless, which I don't see the point. And then I went on Amazon, it's available. So you can buy it brand new, £479, which, you know, it makes more sense if you can afford that up front. Like my lease is £19.55 a month. And then there's no guarantee of what the cost will be at the end of the lease. So you can either return it and not pay anymore. You can buy it off them at a then going rate, whatever it's worth at the time in 2 years, or you can upgrade. Now, upgrade just means continually paying and not having anything in return for it, really. So at the moment, the plan is to buy it off them later. I would assume it's for a £480 device that's refurbished in 2 years' time. I'm guessing about £300. So the way I see it is, it's probably going to cost me £300 more than the going rate for an Xbox, and it's like, okay, it's not the end of the world. Um, I've heard some stories that if you return things to them, even though you're supposed to, they'll say it's damaged. And you have to pay another £120, £150 on top. So I'm thinking in my head, I don't want to risk that. I think it's better just to keep it. I'd rather pay them 300 than lose 150 and have nothing. It's not worth the hassle at the moment. But let's say a new Xbox comes out. Mine's £19 at the moment because I'm a new customer, so they put the price up. That's how it looks. But I think but if I was to get anything else, the price should be lower later. So effectively, let's say a new Xbox comes out, £600. You think, oh God, I ain't paying that up front. But maybe I can have that for £15, £20 a month again and just send my one back. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not sure. But I thought I'd just touch on that, really. The fact that I was in two minds whether to cancel the lease because I'm within my first 14 days. But I thought, I know in the long term it's costing more, but £20 a month really isn't a lot of money. It's not going to notice that, really. But finding 480 now is a lot, you know. So there is that side of things, really. I was going to show this little trailer, really, just because I was just going to play it, really, just as a background. But I quite like the X sign. I think what it is, I think the PlayStation has more games to play. So if you have money, disposable income, then yeah, PlayStation's great. When I had the PS5, I bought Sea of Thieves. I think it cost me about £50 So I have plenty of games in the library that side if I had the console. But I'm sick and tired of hemorrhaging money on devices, to be honest. I'd have to buy the PlayStation Plus, then there's probably going to be other games to get. I hate how it looks. It's so bulky. And I'm enjoying some of the Xbox games at the moment. So I just made a conscientious decision that we'll pay the subscription fee, the Game Pass, because I'm already playing it on PC anyway. And then I'm not seeing it as a huge cost. For instance, I just cancelled Spotify because I don't mind the free one anyway. Like, I don't listen to it all the time. And that's £12 a month. And the console's costing me £19 a month. So effectively, I just see it like cancel Spotify, it pays for the console. Pretty simple that way. So I did want to just show a comparison, really. So here on Raylo, they do mobile phones as well. So they do a console. So effectively, for my refurbished Xbox, I could have had a PS5, brand new PS5 for the same price. Now, annoyingly, the prices are quite low. Look, monthly prices, you probably can't see them. But when you do a soft check, at least when I did a soft check, all of a sudden the prices went up. They added another £6 to everything, and it was like, this is outrageous at this point. So effectively, you could have a PS5 Pro for £22 a month with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is great because I'm paying £20 for a freaking Xbox Series X, even though it's great. But I was never going to be able to get that because it went up to like £30 a month, nearly. And that's the problem. These prices aren't necessarily what they're going to be once you join, once you do a credit check and they say you're a new customer and stuff. But right now, there's no more Xboxes. So I must have got one of the last Series X's they had because they never had them. Every time I was looking for the past month, they never had Series X. They got one Series S somewhere around here. I might have gone past it now. You've got a couple of Switches. Yeah, Series S over here. Yeah, but they only ever had PlayStations for the most part. And then randomly, I just saw the Series X and I went, oh, I know it's refurbished, but I want that. Yeah, I want that. So I literally forego a brand new PS5 to get a refurbished Xbox Series X. And I don't regret it. I was using it yesterday and I was like, oh, I missed this. This is great. I've got all my Gears of Wars. I've got all my Forza Horizons, Forza Motorsport, Halos, and then everything on Game Pass as well. And then I've recently just acquired from eBay literally pretty much the entire Assassin's Creed series. Now I recognise you could have got the Assassin's Creed series on PlayStation, but you actually can't because the previous generations. I think some of them would have been on PS3, which are not compatible with PS5, and some would be PS4. I don't know how much is compatible with PlayStation, but at least with Xbox, you've got that backward compatibility that goes through all the generations. It's incredible. And if you look at what they're doing now, this may be the last disc-based console that Xbox create. So from that point of view, I think it was worth grabbing it. And the fact that it comes with an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive, I think is great. Again, you get that with PlayStation as well, don't you? But again, it's an option. So this is my lease, as you can see here, £19.55 a month. for 24 months. So it does work out about £470 in total, which is the price of a Xbox right now. But that's not me paying for it right now, is it? That's £20 a month. And like I said, I might have to, in 2 years' time, to keep it, maybe I've got to pay £300 on top. So that's, you would argue, is the interest. That's how I'm looking at it. It's not ideal, but this is affordable. £20 is the equivalent of me near enough taking away Spotify, because Spotify is only going to go up every month, over the years. It's so it's fine. I don't mind, you know. Or at the end of the term, you can return it. But I'll probably keep it. But then, having said that, I don't know. The plan is to keep it. But look at what just happened with the One X. It reached a point where it can't play the latest games. So it did have a lifespan. It didn't have it's not infinite lifespan. We still want the next generation. So from my point of view, the Series X, I will keep longer than the duration of the contract if the new one doesn't have disk drives and doesn't have compatibility with the past generations. Because it's really about having the functionality. If the functionality continues, then yeah, I might as well just upgrade to the next console. But yeah, I just really wanted to show that, really. I just want to show a few examples. Here's the One X and the Series X. The One X was great. So effectively, the One X is 6 teraflops of performance, graphic performance. The Series X is 12, so it's double. But it's really incredible. It's really vivid, and the graphics are sharp, and it's smooth. Now, my gaming laptop can play all the games on ultra wide, and it is smooth. A lot of the games 60 FPS plus, sometimes up to 90 or 100. The limitation with mine is the CPU heats up, so I've got a cooling pad. It's a £100 cooling pad, which is pretty cool, but it is limited. And some games, especially Assassin's Creed, they're very CPU intensive, and they can be a bit of a pain. So you get performance, but sometimes there's dips. Whereas with console, it's smooth, and on a big screen, I do actually prefer playing Assassin's Creed on game consoles. Even though I recently bought Shadows on the PC, now I'm thinking, wish I got it on Xbox. But that's just that. Then here we go, the PS5 versus the Xbox. It doesn't have to be a competition. It was a case of which one do you want, though. And like I said, they can tie it back with compatibility of the Xbox, and the Game Pass for me just made it you know what? That's the one I want now. I don't want to keep flirting back and forward. I've got a lot of the PS5 games on PC anyway, as I have Xbox, but it just meant, what do I want to play on the TV? It's really going to be Game Pass related games, to be totally honest, and some of the older games that I like playing on Xbox. Made it more affordable. So yeah, when I saw the Xbox was available brand new, it did raise a question whether I just cancel the lease and then just get an Xbox in a few months. Let's say I can buy it in maybe 4 months. Let's say 4 months, you can go and just buy it. I just thought, well, to be honest, you can, but that's a hefty chunk of money at once. When £20 a month, to be honest, isn't that bad. The way I'm looking at it, really, if you did the maths this way, this isn't me logically doing it too much. Yeah, I'd say about that actually. Let's say I'm paying £20 a month for the console. Let's say I put £10 a month away every month. So let's say I pay £20 a month for the console, and I put £10 a month in saving. And then at the end of the term, that £10 a month I was saving on top would pay for the console. So effectively, it's costing £30 a month to keep it. But again, okay, over term, that's going to be more money, but it's not. It's still not £480 at once, is it? So actually, the Raylo thing, I don't think is as bad as it looks. It's not ideal. If you can get the credit on a catalog or somewhere where you pay monthly and you get to own it, of course, it's going to work out cheaper. It's going to work out cheaper. The way I see it is, it's about £300 insurance interest on top of the console, which is a bit mad when it's refurbished as well. But it come perfect. It's in perfect condition. There was literally nothing wrong. I'm nitpicky. I was looking. There was nothing wrong. It boots up fast. It's rapid. So I don't regret getting the Xbox Series X in 2025. I'm really impressed with it. Like I say, I was trying out plenty of games. Can't remember the exact games I tried now. I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it was definitely a 60 FPS. It looked sharp. The graphics were great. Comparable to my PC, which was good. Because I'm picky like that. I tried Forza Horizon 4, which is Xbox enhanced, the Series X enhanced. That looked in crazy sharp, just like my PC, but it's so vivid on a telly sometimes, And Black Ops 6. I can't remember what else I was. I don't know if they're the only ones I tested. But either way, they all just look great. And I was like, I'm happy. And then I've got about 30 games installed already. I've gone crazy. Yeah. So I'm happy. Yeah, like I said, if I've got a PS5, yeah, I'll be able to play my single player games that I've already completed, and um, I'm gonna have to just keep paying out more money to play the games I do want to play. Even though, like for instance, I know a lot of the Xbox games have gone over to PS5 now, but then all of them are on PC anyway, so it's no different. It's just that I already own them on PC. So, like where you can get Forza Horizon 5 now, I don't know if it's out right now on PlayStation, it's going to cost you 50, 60 quid. But I just pay £15 a month for Game Pass, and I'm already paying it because I was doing it on a PC. So it's a no brainer to me. Everybody's user case scenario is going to be different, but yeah, I'm using Raylo. I'm not suggesting everybody should use Raylo. In my instance, it just makes a bit more sense because even if I had £480 right now, do I really want to lose the £480 on a game console when I can perfectly fine pay just 20 for now, and then in 2 years I can make a decision whether I want to keep it or whether I do want to pay them a bit to buy it. Um, and I can make that decision there later, and I can plan ahead a bit more for it. I know there's a user case scenario of if you can't afford to buy it today, then don't have it. But there's nothing wrong with renting it for 2 years, and that's just my choice. There is links in my link tree, but I'm not promoting it. I'm not promoting a service. I'm just saying what I'm doing, and the fact that, like I say, I could have cancelled it, but I've decided, you know what, I'm enjoying having it. I don't want to go months without it. Let's just stick with what we're doing. I was happy enough before it was available new anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.